Today, I want to share something with you that's been a huge eye-opener for me, and it's the basis of a super genius approach for educational content creators in the online world to reach financial freedom. And I feel compelled to share this, even though it's not really my usual content, because in my experience, especially female entrepreneurs are often so much in that flowing yin energy that the masculine yang counterpart of a really solid structure for their business to flow in can easily get neglected. And that's why it can get hard to truly thrive no matter how much time and energy you invest. So, if you're curious how to become financially free on a heart led relational basis with the intention to be of service rather than creating that transactional hustle through grit with a pure goal of making money, then this episode is for you. Welcome to your Freak to Genius channel. I'm Chris and I'm here to help you transform and grow and alchemize the lead in your life into gold with joy, ease, and fun because you're here to live the life you love. I don't have a fixed schedule because I allow things to drop in when they are ready with the divine timing. So I invite you to subscribe if you want to be informed when new clips land. But now, let's dive into today's episode and create some magic together. So, what I will be sharing with you today are the 7 basic action steps of a blueprint to financial freedom that I kind of stumbled across in a free community called the Synthesizers on the Skool platform. And in that community, Andrew Kirby and Aidan Lebrecht share their proven and super successful strategy in full and really generously for free also. And I will share that link in the show notes. So, with that approach that they share, they've earned millions themselves and helped tons of others reach that infamous 10K a month and well beyond that. But their mission and their vision is really to create a revolution and a movement that helps a million educational creators get paid to educate Earth and to create change. But before we dive into those 7 steps, I want to add something that is not yet on the roadmap, but I do hope it will be added because to me, if you want to build an online business that is not just financially sustainable, but holistically sustainable, getting these priorities sorted and set right from the start is really essential. So number 1 is really obviously is health. You will simply not serve others best when the space is not covered well. And sleep. Did you know that a lack of sleep, especially of restorative deep and REM sleep, can cause a myriad of health issues, one of them being hypertension? And that when you don't hydrate enough, your whole system obviously gets sluggish, and you know that toxins get stored and you get slow, but you also start procrastinating. So maybe the next time when you think you're lazy, just drink because your body might be thirsty. And too much time online overstimulates your nervous system to the point of causing quite intense symptoms of ADHD, even in neurotypicals like me. So when you feel scatterbrained, that might be a symptom and a signal for you to go offline. And food is just the basis of what you're created from. So you are what you eat, and you don't want that to be crap. And you will definitely feel it in your energy levels when you're eating clean. But what else is important to you? What else is important for your health? What do you need to prioritize? What have you realized for yourself? In addition to health, for me, right at the top is family time. And you may only become aware of this factor retrospectively when it's too late. And therefore, I want to stress this point as almost equally essential and important as taking care of your health, because time flies when we're unconscious. And my advice is to make this a conscious choice. And then on third place comes business, which is actually there to support the 2 above, not just financially, but being happy with what you do, something that truly fulfills you, that will totally support your health and well-being. And that's how I prioritize, but I invite you to choose and tune in consciously for yourself as well. What is important to you if you look at where you want to be in the next 20, 30 years? How would you love to feel? And what feels essential for that apart from money? So let's get to the infamous roadmap. What sets this approach apart from everything else I've seen and heard and learned so far, and why I believe it's so successful, is because it comes from a place of real connections and truly being a service. And that just creates a super strong foundation. And the lift mottos in this group are solve problems and publicly share solutions, and always paid forward. So it's not about how can I get this person to pay, but actually about how can I best serve them. And this may be a surprise, but it was a complete game changer for me, because while I always followed that question of how can I best serve, I simultaneously felt guilty about not having that how can I get this person to pay on my mind. And guilt and shame are pretty much the best, most efficient blockers of financial flow that we can have. So, in this approach, working for free is an inherent part of the system, and it evolves super naturally to the paid level. So, you start out by offering a lot of work for free, not just because you can and have nothing to lose through it, but also because you learn a ton in the process, while you build up on goodwill and you increase the trust factor, and you gain social proof through testimonials. And when you approach this from a pay it forward perspective, it has absolutely nothing to do with self-worth issues and shame, which, like I said, are very common and effective energetic income blockers. So the sense you get through following the roadmap system is quite the opposite. Because here you can give and you can over deliver, because you're an abundant being with incredible gifts and talents and with unique life experiences. And there is not an ounce of scarcity energy in this approach. Therefore, that is what life can only echo back to you when you choose to start giving it freely. But it has to be with this intention. And you help make the world a better place along the way. And therefore, this approach to me is not really about the money. That's actually a side effect, even though people do make money fast through it, which comes as no surprise. And it's maybe what initially attracts people to this container. But to me, that's really just the surface level. Because in my personal experience so far, the results go far beyond earning money doing what you love. So the roadmap is obviously much more extensive than what I will be sharing here with you today, this little synthesis. And it takes you from zero idea of what to offer to a fully scalable, robust product or service if you put in the work. And it gives you all the call templates and all the details. But what I've chosen to highlight in this video today are just the basic components. That's the sequence of action steps you take. And in the next video, I will then share with you how to implement them on a very practical level. So the roadmap is based on the following components that Kirby and Aiden call the 7 C's, which are the actions to take. This is so genius to me because it's bottoms up instead of top down, which is what is usually taught. That's to create a course and the people will come, right? Except not. So instead, the very first step you take here when you're just starting out with your offer, when you have no real product yet, nor a dedicated audience, is to consume high quality content. You choose your topic, that's the problem you have solved, and a single person to focus on who shares content about this. And this concentrates your focus and doesn't make you wonder which advice to follow, which would just create decision fatigue in many. So you choose one source unless you are already further along and you know your offer well, and then I feel you can work with several sources. Secondly, instead of starting out by creating content like a course or YouTube's or podcasts and shooting them into the void, you actually start with building a solid network. And you create this simply by leaving thoughtful, helpful comments in the place where you consume your content. And that's why it's so important to consume content, because you can then follow up right there interact with your niche, with your people, with your soul tribe. And just make the comments better than everyone else's by spending more time on them. And please Don't use AI for this to save you time. There's been a lot of conversations about this in my communities lately, and while I find AI fantastic for brainstorming, you want to be a real human when you build your network. You want people to connect with you, not with your bot. And thirdly, you move from comments into DMs to further deepen the conversations and to connect, or to provide more specific support or help or receive some in-depth answers. All, and I believe this goes without saying, without being pushy. So in Skool, I think you can only send DMs to 10 new contacts per week. So they want to prevent scamming and spamming and all that. So you get to choose who you contact with. But essentially, this is where the network magic really starts to happen. Once you have a sense of who you would love to connect with on an even deeper level, you send them a calendar invite for a 30-minute coffee chat or a discovery call, chemistry call, whatever you choose to call it. And here you can find out how this person actually fits into your network and you into theirs. So the focus here is really not on potential clients, but rather on creating an array of contacts that can support you on your path, and obviously vice versa as well. So if you can help them answer some questions, or the other way around, on the process, your product, anything. Plus, remember, anyone can know someone at some point who needs your gifts, your talents, and the offer you're creating right now. And again, vice versa. So if you see that you can help them directly in any way, offer that support. Maybe you even have a free lead magnet, a YouTube that could support them, or maybe even a school group that's interesting for them. Just be open for everything and stay authentic. Number 5 is the case study. So this to me is really the heart of the system. And the way it works is that if you met somebody on the calls or received a referral and found out that you and your offer are a good fit for them, you ask if you can provide this work or possibly a part of it to them for free. And this will be your so-called case studies. So for me, it's a 6 weeks program in which I support people who are in that often super scary void of a career transition. And the recommendation is to guide 3 to 5 clients through your whole offer before you sell it officially, if it's up to 6 weeks long. If it's longer, you can divide it up into several sections and you offer pieces depending on where on their journey the client is. You don't want to spend years working for free, right? So once you have that base covered, you can offer so-called quick wins where you help them solve one aspect of their issue. And through that, you both get a taste of whether it would be good to keep working together, and if not, it was a supportive act without it costing you a ton of free work. So in my case, that would be a single session where we use intuition to address a single aspect of the 6-week journey, depending on where they need the most support. And after I've done a few, I can offer it as a free group session to make the delivery more effective time-wise. And if you're a copywriter, for example, you could also help them with their about page or something like that. And this is really an essential aspect of the roadmap. And I will create another video about this to share my own experiences and give you a more detailed example, as I feel there can be quite a few hurdles built in here if we're not conscious of what's happening underneath. So to me, this whole process is so brilliant because it helps you build out your paid offer. It shows you its weaknesses, helps you optimize and customize your offer to your ideal client. It builds your skills. It helps you get crystal clear on your niche, and you learn what lights you up and what drains you. And if you provide good work, it will get you testimonials and referrals. So no matter what, you want to over-deliver to them as you would to a full paying client. And number 6 is close. That's the paying client. So now you use your case study proof and your experience to sign up clients. Or maybe your case study client wants to continue working with you because you provided so much value already. And that actually happens quite often, and you don't have to make a sales call because people just love what you have given them for free and want to pay you sometimes even before you get asked. And actually, that's what happened to me with one of my case study clients who asked me the second week of the 6-week program already if it's an option for her to keep working with me, which at that moment, it wasn't, and I created the option for her. And I also came across a post in the group where this happened to someone 3 times within 1 week. He couldn't even pitch, and the client directly wanted to buy. So yeah, as I announced that this was for educational content creators, maybe you're wondering, what about the content? When does that come in? Well, here it comes in last, even though this is where content creators usually start. Like I said, bottoms up instead of top down, because only at this point do you truly know your niche and your preferences. You have the skills and the network and the social proof. And like this, your content can truly actually reach an audience that is fully aligned with you and your offer. And you have found the people that speak your language. And through your content, you can now share what you have found to be relevant for your audience from the case study phase, but also from the quick wins. And you can also share things from your offer that will save you time during delivery and them as well. So this is the first step into scaling your offer. And content is valuable if it saves people time. So for example, I'm creating this mini series synthesis with the intention of saving you time. But equally, if I share how I approach structured intuition before I meet up with a client, I don't have to explain it on the call and save both of us time. So to me, it's not just about YouTubes and podcasts, but it can be any content that you can create. So it can be your newsletter, it can be looms, blog posts, anything that you can share somewhere and people can go back to. And this content can, in turn, continue to grow your audience. I forget who said it. I think it might have been Harmozy, that content is the new ads because it's free, it's more effective, especially if you have first created that network. And you can now also scale and create a course from what you are offering and what you have learned, because you now have a growing audience to pitch it to and you know what their needs are. It's not just in your mind. And from a human design point of view, starting out with content is actually only true and a promising approach for manifestors, which is 8 to 10% of the population. And that's it. So this is it for the first part, to synthesize the synthesis, solve problems, and publicly share solutions, always paid forward. Real connections are the basis of everything and only scale once you can't deliver one-on-one anymore. And if you liked what you saw today, I totally advise you to head over to the Synthesizers. It's free and fabulous. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. And in the next episode, I will share how to best implement these 7 action steps. So see you in my next video.